I didn't know if I was going to post this, and I'm still a bit hesitant when I'm making this video right now. But I saw somebody else post it for them, and I'm posting it for me. Like, I literally just saw a video where somebody talked about why they're in a chair. One thing that I hate having to explain is why I'm in a chair. While I while I don't have an official diagnosis, because from according to doctors, it's difficult to determine exactly what's wrong. Excuse me. Basically, initially, one of my exes, I'm not going to mention their name. I'm saying them because they were non-binary. And I'm respectful of that. Had put me in severe amount of trauma, knowing I had degenerative disc disease. It's a back thing. I've done a little bit of research on it. I just didn't know exactly how it affects things. And he had forced me to move our furniture, move our stuff, and because of my already weakened condition, I had no idea I could make myself worse. And one day, I was lifting a box, and I didn't know that my spine already had some severe trauma to it. I didn't know it had become that weakened. And I was lifting the box. Everybody in the room, there was like 3, maybe 4 people in the room. We all heard this weird, loud snap, which I didn't realize had come from me. Now, the next thing I know is I saw nothing. I saw a flash of light and spots in my eyes, and I had somehow crumpled to the ground, unable to stand, and my ex had to pick me up by my shoulders and carry me to the bed. And even then, she really didn't want to do that because she didn't know the extent of the damage. She had to go to work, so I was basically stuck in bed. I didn't have medical insurance, so I had no way of knowing what was wrong. And when my ex-girlfriend had come back to the house, she had gotten into the bed with me and checked the damage, and she was really weirdly quiet, so I didn't know why. She had started asking me questions if I could feel what she was doing. I couldn't. This was at least 5 hours later. It might have been more. And that's when we knew something was wrong. But because I couldn't afford to go see a doctor, there's nothing that could have been done. And a couple of days later, it had gotten bad enough where they brought my ex she had an extra wheelchair and had wheeled me to her car. So when she had done that, they wheeled me to she wheeled me to the ER, had insisted on it, and what they said, they weren't sure what had happened, but clearly something, like a few discs had not only been ruptured, but possibly my spine might have been fractured. And they said that explained the paralysis. I couldn't move my legs. I still can't move them. It's been a year and I still have no sensation whatsoever. And unfortunately, they couldn't do anything because I didn't have insurance. The best they could have done was give me this, injection. I don't know what it was. It didn't do anything. There wasn't any pain. It was just dead. So when they did that, it's just, it was pretty much like a Band-Aid over a giant crack in glass. So for a few months I was in, we didn't realize that what had happened to my spine had turned like septic, and an infection had spread, and more importantly, one of my exes, I'm polyamorous, so I have multiple partners, became physically violent towards me. And she had punched me several times in the back, would hit me with boards. I didn't realize what she was doing. She was actually purposely trying to make me worse so I couldn't leave the house. She had starved me. And I was left bedridden. I had no idea things were getting worse for me. About a couple of months later, I had moved to here. I had moved to Kansas, and I still wasn't able to see a doctor, but I was getting out of my friend's car, and I was using a cane, and I was barely able to use it, and my legs gave out completely. I wasn't able to just hold myself up using my hands. I was basically using a cane and propelling myself forward. Barely. My friend actually had to hold my hand and help me getting around. And even then, she was already wanting to get me a chair, and I was in denial. But that day, we had gotten out of the car. Cane flies out from under me, and I couldn't get up. Normally, I was able to sort of use my legs as stilts and prop myself up against something, but even then, it just... I come to find out later that I started becoming paralyzed because of the damage to my spine that had gone untreated, and amongst other things. Having trouble breathing right now, and I'm really self-conscious about. Yeah. But it had gotten worse. Doctors out here, with the type of insurance I have, they don't want to be bothered with that stuff. My doctor doesn't even have a wheelchair accessible ramp for x-rays or for even a scale. And then it got to a point where, after begging them to at least do some sort of an x-ray, they had to schedule it at the ER, and they had to they didn't just want to do an x-ray, but they wanted to do an MRI. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before that, I had the x-ray recently. Before that, back in January, at this point, the paralysis had moved about here. Like, yeah, it was slowly moving up. It's been moving up. But I was trying to get down 3 concrete stairs, about this much space between them. No ramp. I had to let myself fall. I was distracted for a moment, and I fell, but I fell on my head. I don't remember much. I remember getting up but finding out that my chair, my manual chair, had fallen on my face. And not only that, the wheel had fallen on my neck and head, and actually, if you look closely, you can kind of see the permanent bruising around my neck. I don't remember how long I was out for. And honestly, at first I thought nothing was wrong. I was wrong on that. Something had happened. And for the following months, I started to lose more sensation. And it slowly got to the point where it was slowly moving up to my heart. It's now affected. Sorry, I'm so sorry. It has now affected my lungs. I can't eat without choking. If I lie down on my back, I can't breathe. Even now, I'm starting to feel a little constricted. Doctors don't know why that is. I don't know why that is. But there's nothing they can do. They have reported that I have severe damage to parts of my brainstem and severe damage and hints at a possible fracture around my spinal column. And just recently, it has gotten to the point where I can't even mask my symptoms anymore. I don't think it's gonna kill me, but there's certain things they may have to do so I can still live somewhat of a independent life. Especially if my throat has a risk of completely becoming immobilized. But that's why I'm in a chair. Why I'm in a power chair is I cannot simply, where a lot of paraplegics would be, or quadriplegics would be able to move a chair to push the wheels with their hands, I can barely do that. And 9 times out of 10, I need assistance doing that. So I had to get a power chair. It's getting to the point where I can't dress myself properly, wash my hair, and currently talk. But that's why I'm in a chair. And doctors don't see how they can possibly fix what's wrong with me now. Surgically anyways. Or even through other means. So, unfortunately, I'm gonna get worse. It may get to a point where I can't live on my own anymore. Completely. So, yeah. Now you know I am in a chair. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. And I'm struggling a lot more than you see. I'm not okay. But I'm here. And in 2 months it'll be the anniversary since I became paralyzed.